Hello guys. So we are going to continue our discussion on Python programming. We are going to discuss on the syntax and semantics in Python. So if you see here, we are going to cover the topics today: single line comments and multi-line comments, definition of syntax and semantics, basic syntax rules in Python, understanding semantics in Python, common syntax errors and how to avoid them, practical code examples. So let's go over the definition of syntax and semantics, and we'll see what's the difference between both. Syntax refers to the set of rules that defines the combination of symbols that are considered to be correctly structured programs in a language. In simpler terms, syntax is about the correct arrangement of words and symbols in a code. Semantics refers to the meaning of the interpretation of the symbols, characters, and commands in a language. It is about what the code is supposed to do when it runs. So let's go and see some basic syntax rules in Python. So what I'm going to do is we are going to see case sensitivity in Python. Suppose I'm creating a variable and I'm assigning it as Chitra, and I'm creating another variable with N capital, and I'm assigning it a variable with suppose Mona Lisa. Okay, so these two, even if the word seems the same name, the variable is the same, but because one is lowercase, one is camel case name, so it will be considered as two different variables. Now, when we go ahead and print this, we will be seeing two different variables values getting printed over here. You see? Understand this. When we are doing some coding and we come across some kind of syntax errors, why it actually happens? It may be because I may not have assigned a variable and I'm directly using that in my code. In that case, for sure, I'll get a syntax error. Okay. So let's go ahead and see some use cases of indentation, which are very important in Python. So I have a definition of indentation here. Indentation is Python is used to define the structure and hierarchy of the code. Unlike many other programming languages that use braces to delimit blocks of code, Python uses indentation to determine the grouping of statements. This means that all the statements within a block must be indented at the same level. Okay. So we'll just see some examples of indentation and how it works in Python. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to declare a variable called age, write the if condition. If age is greater than 20, okay. So I'm going to write a print statement here. Print age. So what it will do is, it will print the age only if it is greater than 20. So I have declared a variable here, variable age with value 28. And I'm seeing the condition if age is greater than 20, then only go ahead and print the age. And I'll come out of the if block and I'll again print age here. Let's go ahead and execute this. Okay. So this print statement got executed because the condition was satisfied, and this print statement got executed because irrespective of the condition, even if the if block, if condition was not satisfied, this is going to be executed. Okay. Now we are going to learn about single line comments and multi-line comments. Okay. So what is a single line comment? Suppose I'm writing a print statement here, print hello world. and I want to have a single line comment here. So single line comments always starts with double hash. This is where, suppose I'm writing a function, I'm defining some huge block of code. I want the code to be readable and understandable if someone else comes and goes through my code. So I can give some information what the function does or what the piece of code does. So in order to explain the piece of code, I can write some information in a single line comment. Multi-line comments. So this is single line comment. If I want to add some other lines of comment for the same piece of code, I can use multi-line of comment. But multi-line comments are enclosed in triple quotes, and that is not being supported in Jupyter or IPYNB notebook. For that, we can use the .py file. For example, I have this test.py, and here if you see, this is a single line comment, and I have multiple lines here which I need to comment that out, and I can enclose that in triple quotes. That's how it works in test.py. But this triple quotes won't work in a Jupyter file. In this case, if you have a multi-line comment, then again you will have to write double hash, and you can write your multi-line comments here. I hope this is clear. Now we are going to learn about line continuation. So if there is a huge line of code that you want to write and it's not fitting in your browser or your window, then what you can do, you can write the piece of code in multiple lines. Just that you would need to use a backslash for letting Python know that it's a line continuation. Okay, for example, we are going to see an example for line continuation. So total is equal to, suppose I'm writing 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4 plus 5. Okay. And even after 5, I have few more numbers to be written here. Okay. But I do not have, I want to do it in a new line. So what I can do, I can just do a backslash here and type an enter and just write 6 plus 7. Okay, in this case, if you see, there are multiple lines of code, but it's a continuation. When I do print total, so it will take into account the whole thing, 28. Okay, so now we are going to understand how we can execute multiple statements in a single line, or how we can write multiple statements in a single line of execution. Suppose I'm assigning few of the variables like x is equal to 5. I also have another variable to be assigned y equals to suppose 10. So what I can do, I can use a semicolon here and I can go ahead with the second variable assignment. And then suppose I have another variable to be declared here, which whose values holds x plus y. Okay, and when I do print z, this is going to execute the series of statements that we have written here, and the separator would be semicolon. Now we are going to understand what is semantics, and we are going to see some practical examples on semantics here. Okay, for that we'll start with variable assignment. And I'm going to assign a variable called age is equal to suppose 28, name is equal to Ipshita. Okay, and when I do, I'm going to see what is the data type that Python is assigned for the variable age. What I'm going to do is I'm going to write type of age here. You see, so age is integer here. And then we'll also see what is the data type that Python is assigned to the variable name. Okay. So age is an integer and name is a string, which is correct. Okay. So we'll understand about type inference now. Okay. So I'm assigning a variable is equal to 10. So variable is a variable here. I'm assigning the value as 10 and I'm writing print type of variable. Okay. So we'll see. So type inference is nothing but how Python decides the variable at runtime dynamically. Okay, if you see here, it says this is of class integer. Okay, and if I assign a variable is equal to Shita and I do print that. So now what I'm doing, sorry, this is variable. Now what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to change the value of this variable. The same variable I'm first we saw that it gives a class integer, and now I have changed the variable's value to Ipshita and I'm trying to print that out. So let's see how it behaves. Okay, if you see in the first print statement, Python has inferred the variable's data type to be integer. And the second, when I'm renaming that, reassigning that variable, it got changed to string class. Okay, now we will see some practical examples of how indentation works and how frequently or how usually we get some indentation errors. Okay, suppose I'm assigning the variable age as 28 and I'm writing a if condition. If age is greater than 20, then I'm going to, then only I should be printing the value of age. So here if you see there is no indentation. So if you're writing a if block, it should be having some block of codes and that should be written in a that should be following some best practices or indentation. Ideally, it should be a tab or four spaces, but just to show you how we can get how we get some errors if you do not follow indentation. So this is how it works. If you see, it gives indentation error, expected an indented block after if statement on line 2. So to fix this, what I'm going to do is remove this and after this, give a tab and then write the print statement. So now when we execute this, it gets printed correctly. Now we are going to see some other types of error that we get on a day-to-day basis. Suppose I'm just writing A is equal to B. I have never defined what B is, and I'm just trying to use the value of the variable B, and I'm assigning it to A. In this case, I'm getting a name error, and it says name B is not defined. So this is called name error. Don't worry if you are new to this. We are going to cover all of these in exception handling and how we handle all these kinds of errors. Even if you're not aware of using this if blocks for while, not to worry, we are going to cover all these if block, if loop, if for loop, while, everything in our upcoming videos. Now we are going to cover some beautiful examples of indentation. If true. True is nothing but a Boolean variable. Again, we are going to cover details on variables in our next video. So if true, then I'm going to write a piece of code that print correct indent and so by default, if we do not have any variable assigned and if you are just writing if true, then this is the default value. So ideally this should get executed. And after this, I'm going to write another if statement if false. Print this font print. Okay. And then I want to come out of this if block and I'm going to write another print statement. Okay. And I want to come out of this and I want to write another print statement. Okay. So just pause this video for a second and think out how many print statements are going to be executed in this piece of code. Okay. So if you see here, by default this is true, so this should get printed, and this won't ever get satisfied, so this print statement won't get executed. Okay, and when we come out of this if block, so this will be printed because it shows this is true, so this will somehow get printed. And when we come out of this if block, this will also get printed. So in total, there should be 3 print statements getting executed, and let's check the output. Okay, we see 3 print statements. So now you have a good understanding on how the indentation works. So it needs some practice. You'll have to practice these out. Let me know in case you have any queries in the comment section. So the conclusion is understanding the syntax and semantics of Python is crucial for writing correct and meaningful programs. Syntax ensures the code is properly structured, while semantics ensures code behaves as expected. Mastering these concepts will help in writing efficient and error-free Python code. So we have covered most of these, and going forward, we'll be having a lot of practice sessions, hands-on. I hope you like this video, and if it's helpful, please subscribe and stay tuned for the upcoming videos.